I think it's okay to gatekeep.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. My sister, I pray that you and your family are well. Allahumma ameen. It is impossible to gatekeep culture. It's impossible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that He created us into different nations and tribes to get to know one another. He made us all different so that we may get to know one another. So it's impossible to gatekeep culture. And culture is meant to be shared and traded, so on and so forth. Though I know what you mean, right? I believe I know what you mean. And that is that perhaps, I have never seen it, but I'm assuming that, this is what you've seen, excuse me. That you've seen, certain people, a certain ethnic group of people or racial group of people start doing henna and commercialize it, making money from it, or perhaps said that it's their own. I don't know, but I'm assuming that's what you've seen. Even if you see that, you should have pride that it came from you, right? Even though they're saying that it's their own, if they are saying that, you should still be prideful because you know where it came from. In reality, it came from you, and that does not dilute the culture in any way, shape, or form. All you have to do is just educate your children, like, yeah, that comes from us, alhamdulillah. It's like, for example, when I went to Turkey and they saw me with this hat, they said, one man, he laughed at me, he called me an old man. He said, usually when the Turkish men get old, they start wearing this hat. Now, did it come from Turkey? Did it come from Senegal? Allah knows best, right? I'm from Ivory Coast. But growing up, I saw these Senegalese people wear this a lot. Perhaps it came from Turkey, we got it from them. Well, alhamdulillah. Or perhaps it came from Senegal and they got it from them. Well, alhamdulillah. But I know I got it from the Senegalese people. Alhamdulillah. I had something else to say, but I forgot. But alhamdulillah, this suffices. Oh yeah, the example that I was going to give is, bismillah. The African pattern, wax print, clothing. This African wax print. Google where that came from. It's actually Indonesian. It's from African wax print. The clothing that's known to be African. Like African clothing. It did not come from our people. It didn't come from West Africa. It came from Indonesia. Who brought it to Africa? The Europeans. The Europeans, they started making those clothing in their factories, and the Indonesians were going out of business, and then the Indonesian government banned the Europeans from selling it to the Indonesians. So the Europeans, they needed customers. They came to Africa, West Africa. I forget which country first, or which peoples first, but they came to West Africa. And the West Africans said, yo, this looks fire. Alhamdulillah, we're gonna make it our own. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. But it's actually Indonesian wax print, technically. But it's known now as African wax print. Alhamdulillah. So, it spices up life. It makes life more beautiful. And this whole idea of cultural appropriation and this, that, and the third, well, alhamdulillah, we're Muslims. We don't take the ideologies from these non-Muslims. They're always infighting one another. They're always fighting one another. You took my culture. You took my culture. You can't use that word. You can't use this word. SubhanAllah. You can't live life like that, right? So this is my advice to you. It's impossible. Quran verse, I showed it with the Quran verse. Well, alhamdulillah. If they want to wear henna, well, alhamdulillah. If you want to wear henna, well, alhamdulillah, right? It's okay. Now, let's make sure that we also commercialize it as well. If they commercialize it, make money from it. Just make sure that African women or Asian women, so on and so forth, start up businesses to make money from it as well, to make the most money from it, rather than them. That's the real issue. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. May Allah bless you and your family. Peace.